Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 9th of January. So, after Friday's data, what it bring us? Just a potential of a slowdown of the US interest rate increases. So we'll see how things progress there. Most of the speakers were sort of singing off the same hymn sheet that came out after the non-farms. Non-farms itself was marginally mixed, which takes the pressure off further increases. It just sort of shapes the way up, I guess, for a reduction or a bigger slowdown, and maybe only 0.25% next time. And the more important thing is the higher level expected now is around about 5% compared to previous sort of figures that were being bandied around and expected. Anyway, let's have a look at news for today first. He says getting the right form here this morning. So it really, let's just get the right day, would be good. There's nothing a lot out today. There you go, Monday. Bank holiday, but we do have data coming out this week. We've got the Bank of Japan coming through speaking tomorrow. Actually, that's at 10:10. Of course, we've got this. There's a conference going on here, so we've got quite a few speakers coming out tomorrow that are at the central bank conference. So we've got Powell speaking there as well. I expect that we might get some action from it, but the real key data coming up this week is the inflation data coming out coming up on Thursday, so the CPI, because this is a real guide to how much we're seeing a slowdown, how much effect the increase in interest rates is happening in the US as a starter, and they've really sort of been quite aggressive with it. It's expected to come down 0.6%. The figure there year on year to 0.5, and it's supposed to be sort of 0 on a monthly basis. Anything less than that, of course, would be quite weak for the US dollar effectively, and we might see a continuation of what we've already caught. Anyway, so Friday we ended up with a sort of key reversal bar in the end. It lost quite a bit of value later in the afternoon. It carried on pushing up and through. As we look at it at the moment, we sort of it's quite difficult because it's sort of popped up there, put some reversal bars the other way, sitting here at this stage and looking quite soft. Now there is potential for it to come quite a way back in reverse. There's the daily pivot that's sitting down here. It starts softening quite a bit. Well, could be heading for that, but the overall picture really is a case of patience and waiting to see what happens, because the trend has been largely up. Okay, it's done this sort of maybe a little ABC correction and could be chasing back up again, so it looks like the bigger trends to the upside. Pound slightly different, bit weaker on the dailies here. It's been drifting off for a while. Okay, it's done the bullish engulfing and it's looking sort of, was looking a bit stronger in some respects, but coming down the time frames, it too looks quite sort of soft there. I've actually got the wrong time frame on that bar. There we go. That makes sense. It's all right. I switch the time frames. I'll come back and look at the euro on the 4-hourly as well. But you can see it's run into its monthly pivot on here. I think that's a monthly. Yep, that is the monthly pivot. It's run into the underside of. It could have a bigger effect onto the pound. We'll see how it develops this morning. But it's got daily pivot sitting below there anyway. So daily, monthly, giving it resistance. Could if we're looking for one of the European currencies to roll over, cable looks best poised. Dollar yen. The yen's softened against a lot of its opposite numbers today, and the US dollar just pitching up. Overall picture, of course, has been strongly down. There's again strong old bearish day there on Friday. It's just whether it can hold on to those gains, but at the moment it's looking quite like it's again wanting to turn, and it's the yen's, as I say, softened up against most of its the majors this morning by quite some way. Okay, so there you go, softening. We've got the daily pivot sort of above us here, and the underside of the monthly pivot maybe if it runs through that, which could see resistance if it gives us resistance. But at the moment, it looks like it's quite got good potential to get up there. Aussie dollar. Well, morning in. Aussie dollar's been pushing up pretty strongly up into its monthly R1. It too is just getting that bit of a rollback here, but much more solid sort of movements as it's been pushing up there. But again, bearish engulfing, and similar picture. If we see a bit of a rollover, there's the targets for the today's pivots could well be on. So we've got a few targets actually sitting, and more advanced targets also sitting below price. So it just might draw things down across the board here. We'll see how it develops first thing this morning. It's not a case of just jumping aboard. We could easily see this reverse and all look very bullish again. It's just a very short-termism as we've run into resistance points across a lot of these markets. US dollar CAD, that too, Friday, solid day. Now this has been looking a bit on the softer side anyway, the US dollar against the CAD. The CAD still picking up. Potential increases were mentioned, and it really gave it the kicker on Friday, pushing through and following off and downwards, and maybe the slightly stronger, although it's still on this hourly. It's got the hourly reversal at the moment. We might have opportunities to sell into this, but we'll see how things develop. Morning, Ray. We'll see how things develop here. Okay, so there we go. There's the majors. Let's just switch markets for a moment, and let's go over a look at. Firstly, we'll have a look at gold. Let's just come off, and it's a very similar picture here. It's shoved up pretty well on the dailies there. It's into a strong trend. It's inflation fighter who's really there for us at the moment. Yeah, solid old market. Nowhere really, but the upside looks the best now. It's got this bearish reversals, and it's exactly it's pretty much the same as the euro and a number of the other markets here. Looking with the daily pivot below, if we start seeing some sell-offs, it might be sort of like an intraday scalpy sort of trade. I'd be wary of it, but they do all look quite soft. I don't like selling into highs, and that's what you'll be pretty much doing. Taking a picture of the dailies here. So maybe it's a case of sitting on the hands and just seeing how it develops. Okay, that's gold. Let's just realise what's happened here. I've gone on to switch across to spot crude. So big picture on crude then, just picking up this morning. Didn't really get such a sell-off last week in the end. Well, did in the earlier part of the week. It's consolidated and currently pushing back towards its monthly pivot here at the moment, trying to put some higher lows in. Just a softer US dollar always gives us this sort of price action, and if the dollar continues to be on the softer side of things, we could see this being pushing up further, but still the bigger downward trend still there. It's whether we get a decent flag off the lower time frames, but it's quite ugly at the moment, so we'll steer clear of that. Okay, equity markets, quick look through. Actually, it's just get the right channel up here. So there we go. So high lows continuing. This CSI 300 still pushing upwards. It's a lot of the markets are pushing up with this lower inflation sort of, or lower expectation of interest rates. It's given a bit of a boost in this morning. The Nikkei is also sort of pushing up there. Nifty 50 looking softer, although a reasonable day. I'm just looking, it's sort of double bottomed into the body lows there, and that's about it. Coming over to the US then, solid day there for the S&Ps, but it's just running into its monthly pivot. It could easily just start selling from that. It's got a little bit of weakness running in. We'll see what happens there. I'm still looking at this sort of trend line to see if this gets broken, if it changes course here and starts breaking this line here. Well, I could be on for the downside. I know inflation's slowing down, but there's the consequences of those high interest rates are still to work their way through. Dow Jones, similar-ish picture, although it's pushed through its monthly pivot, looking a little bit more solid, just curling around that little bit further. Nasdaq still lagging quite a bit behind here, and again, if you want one of these three markets to be on the sell side of, the Nasdaq may well give a bit more bang for a buck. Moving close to home, the DAX pushed up reasonably strong on Friday, got back into its prior highs there. It's really a case now if it can consolidate or build on this further, but looking reasonably solid this morning. But just like the euro and everything else, you've got these sort of softer bars coming through at the moment. It may be that we just see it come back towards its daily pivot, and it could be a buy off that, providing it finds support off of it. Just need a reversal at that stage. FTSE, similar picture here. It's been pretty strong. It's taken out its prior highs, so once again a bit of a darling there. You got the Nasdaq, the weaker one, weaker market we're looking at here, equity market. The FTSE's been running up really well for us on the for the long side. Again, a retracement back to that daily pivot might be a decent place to be looking for the buy side if it starts reversing. That's it. That's pretty much it for me. I wish you a great day's trading. Oh, you want a quick look, see what happened with the crypto. I know there is some positive move this morning, and there was a positive end there by the looks of things to well, no, it's over the weekend, wasn't it? It was pushing up over the weekend, so it has picked up a little bit on this sort of potential softer dollar. It's just sort of rolled through there as well, and that was Sunday. Let's just get the days here because it's got Saturday and Sunday here in terms of what we're looking at. So Sunday sitting through there, but certainly it's a continuation, higher lows running through. Maybe we've got further upside, benefiting, as I say, from a softer dollar. It's reflected through there. Okay, I'll leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now. There we go.